It's going pretty good. Good. It's gonna feel good to get back into the podcasting. Make sure everybody knows about what's going on in League One. Yeah, you're telling me, man. Working outside these past couple days has been horrible. No, it's been a little windy, but not anything too crazy.
That's good.
There we go. Now
Well,
we're in.
what do you got drinking tonight?
I'm just drinking water. I
Yeah,
don't saving my alcohol for not only Thanksgiving but the Black Friday matchup between Nebraska and Iowa. I
that's
feel
gonna be a
like
good one.
that's going to be a game where I have to have a few in me to
Yeah.
enjoy thoroughly because of the weather, because it is going to be horrible to sit outside in that.
Do you drink at all when you get into Memorial Stadium? Oh, that's right. They don't have alcohol there. Never mind.
No, I never ever sneak shooters into Memorial Stadium ever. Who does that?
I've accepted shooters from away fans when I'm standing next to them in the crowd.
Yep.
That's
Nope.
probably their way of like, all right, he's good. Like we're not gonna get reported to the security or anything.
Yeah, I don't put them in my boots walking inside, no.
Yeah, it's not oddly specific at all either. So yeah.
Mm-mm.
All right, so I'm gonna go with so I was looking for something new to drink because I also thought about going straight down the generic route and getting something from one of those macro brews, but I decided to go with a Golden Road Brewing. It's a wheat ale, like
Ooh,
mango.
Mango Cart is good stuff.
Is it really?
I
I've
I
never
enjoy
heard of it.
it. I'm not a big mango guy, but I do enjoy that beer. My wife likes it quite a bit as well.
So it says they're from LA and St. Louis. I've never heard of the this beer or the brewing company, so um, we'll give it a go. But we have an awesome show for everybody tonight. Like we said at the top of the show, we have a ton of stuff to go through. Uh, Brian and I did some deep dives into social media, to all the club websites, to I mean everything that they're putting out there to try to get as much information as we can to try to cram it into this hour-long episode. So let's get right down to it. We had some player moves announced recently. Northern Colorado's Trevor Ammon is going to be going to the USL Championship. He's going to be playing with Sacramento Republic. So the 2023 USL League One Player of the Year and Golden Boot winner is no longer going to be taking the field in any baseball stadiums in League One next season.
In League One. I like the
In League One.
specification of in League One. Um, yeah, we kinda all figured this was coming though, right? I don't think anybody is surprised by him moving on. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he deserves to move up. Uh, you you blow away the scoring record in League One, yeah, you should probably be playing in championship at least.
Oh
So
yeah.
good for him, and it's always good to see guys move up. And um, when he does well next season, which I think for sure he will play very well in championship as well. Maybe that's just another thing we can push with promotion and relegation to maybe grease the wheels on that a little bit. Show that these players in League One are good enough to be playing in championship as well.
Yeah, and there were 4 players from League One's social media that were saying that sorry, let me start that over. The League One's headquarter social media person put out there that there were 4 players that were playing in the USL championship or the final, and so it was cool to see like players from North Texas in there. I think there was I'm trying to think of some of the other players that were in there, but yeah, there are 4 players with League One history that were playing in that final, so it was cool to see that kind of
Hmm.
impact happening.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the amount of talent that is in League One.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah,
and not necessarily a move per se, but still like a move, if you want to call it that. North Carolina just announced. I know that we're calling North Carolina still a League One team. I would know we know they're not, but they're still in our hearts. Nick Holiday and Kyrome Lumsden are doing a 2-week trial with PSV, which is pretty dang cool.
Yeah. Again, this just ups visibility and um, really shows what some of these guys can do in this league. I mean, it and as a third division league, you want all of these things happening um, to really cement that you are a serious league. And it's one of the things that it's one step closer to being taken more serious and one step closer to um, no, I won't necessarily say competing with MLS because I don't know that that's really possible with the this pyramid that we have in the states, but um, it's one step closer to having a product that is closer in resemblance to MLS than it is currently.
Hmm.
Good or bad, take that as you will. Really, I mean, there are good things and bad things, but the visibility and the visibility and just production values of being taken more seriously like that, I think are worth the risks.
Yep, and I like the fact that it's a 2-week stint, but at the same time, I wish it was a longer trial while they're down there or while they're over there, really,
Mhm,
because I feel like at the end of the 2 weeks, you're because trying to get settled in the span of 2 weeks and feeling confident and secure, I feel like by the end of that 2 weeks, like you're finally getting that sense.
mhm,
But trying to get that early on, I mean, these guys are gonna have to hit the ground running, not only running, sprinting to try to, get as much as they can, soak up all that information and um, make as much of an impact, on the coaches and everything there.
mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes.
Yeah, I agree.
And let's see here. We also had USL Portland. They received unanimous approval from City Council on their stadium proposal.
Mhm,
So congrats to them. That's awesome. Can't wait to see any of the designs that they're going to be having out on social media and all that kind of stuff. The video that they posted on social media with all the fans in the I don't know the foyer where everyone was like spinning their scarves and jumping up and down and cheering. That was cool. That was a
mhm.
cool video
Yeah,
because it shows right there that they already have a bit of a following amongst their fans and everything. So it's not going to take long for that stadium to fill up once they get it built.
mhm. Yeah, and that's great to see. Obviously, they have a lot of dedicated fans already up there, so, and the videos shared on social media, that's always a step in the right direction, so you know that they have their social media game going, which in this day and age, that that's 60 to 70% of the battle is getting yourself out there on social media, just more eyes. So, um,
Yep.
doing that, obviously, another step in the right direction. So, good things going on up in Portland.
Yep. And for anybody that is enjoying any of the CONCACAF Nations League, there have been several League One players who have been called up to play in those matches. We also had a player that was called up to the U17 World Cup, and that was Adrian Palayo, who plays with North Carolina. Now, we did mention him a few months ago when we talked about how he had his initial signing with the club.
Mhm.
Um, so it's really cool. I think he was even named as a starter for the club in their match. And then Raheem Summersall with St. Kitts and Nevis was called up for their match. He had a cool video on social media as well, where he had a group of friends and family that greeted him at the airport, and they were all chanting like MVP and jumping and hugging him when he arrived at the airport. That was a really cool video. Really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, another great thing to see. Um,
Yep.
I mean, I know NCFC is not going to be in the league next season, but still, they came up from League One, so uh, we at least got an off season to still talk about their players. So,
Yeah. And another one out of North Carolina is Olix Anderson. He's playing with St. Vincent and Grenadines in the CONCACAF Nations League. And
mhm.
then 2 more players from League One. Amal Knight was called up for Jamaica, and Noah Powder played with Trinidad and Tobago for the Nations League as well.
Mhm.
And I did appreciate Noah jumping on social media real quick after he got that red card to apologize to all the fans and everything. Seemed like he was genuinely, apologetic, and so it was a classy move of him to do that for the fans.
Yeah, he seems like a guy who has his head on straight. So, um,
Yeah,
always cool to see, especially when it's for your nation. I know that's a big deal for a lot of these players, um,
yeah,
playing for your nation. So, I mean, good on him for apologizing for the red card. And
hmm
I mean, and it's tough. I mean, that's Trinidad and Tobago. It's one of those teams where it can't be super easy to play against teams like the United States, Mexico, and Canada in the Nations League, for such a small country. Uh, so hats off to even go up and um, play as well as they did in the Nations League too. I mean, they beat the U.S. last night. If that
they
was
did.
that how it did, yeah. So
Yep,
lost in aggregate score, but still won the match. So
yeah. And I'm glad he didn't get his red card by punting the ball after a throw in.
yeah,
At
and
least he
then
wasn't that
talking
dramatic.
smack and blowing a kiss to the referee. Yeah,
Yep.
if you didn't think that was going to get you a red card, I refuse to believe you've been playing soccer for any amount of time.
Yeah, I've been given red cards for dissent for much lesser than that. And we also had a really cool announcement from Brooklyn. They finally announced their team colors, their badge, their identity ahead of the 2025 season when they start in League One. This is so their official team colors are limestone and industrial black. And when you look at their badge, Bright. So before I throw my input in there, I want to hear what your thoughts on the badge and logo and everything.
um, I, the colors are not my favorite in the world, to be honest. Geez, sorry, trying to type stuff out. Talk. The colors aren't my favorite. It kind of fits New York, honestly. Um, the crest is pretty cool, and I will say I do like that they just went simple with Brooklyn FC. I mean, that's kind of just how it goes. I do like the more simple stuff, but the logo's cool. I really like the arches implemented inside the B. Um, I think the colors could have been a little bit more out there, but that also probably leaves quite a bit for their design team to be able to work with. I mean, you have pretty simple colors, so you throw in a color splash here and there. I think it has the potential to be really cool.
Yeah, I really like the design of the badge. So you have the B. Obviously, there's a reference to the Brooklyn Bridge. I also really like how it's a reference to like the sort of the graffiti that's taken on an art form
Hmm.
within New York and Brooklyn and all that kind of stuff. I really like that. It goes against the grain as far as like a traditional soccer crest or the logo or shield or something like that. But I don't think it's an unacceptable version of a crest. I think it's still true to the essence of Brooklyn, and I like it. Now with the colors, I agree with you. They could have chosen a more vibrant color palette, but at the same time, I agree with you. I think they can still manage to work in a lot of really cool designs with the colors that they chose.
Hmm. Yeah, we have Michael in the live chat saying BKFC is Burger King FC. That's gonna be a really good meme coming up this season,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
their 2025 season. Excuse me.
yeah. That's gonna be good. Just hearing that alone, yeah, I can already see like all the memes
It's
hitting.
coming.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. So along with Brooklyn FC, they also have some club news. They do still intend on having a youth academy that starts in 24, even though the League One club is going to be starting in 25. They are also going to be announcing their stadium plans in mid 24. And then they do plan on having a USL Super League at some point, like the women's team at some
Mhm.
point down the road. Now, this is where the fan support comes in, because the earlier that the fans embrace that club and show up and buy the merch and show their support for the club, the closer that club reaches that goal of having a Super League women's club. So if you are a fan of Brooklyn, you're in that area and you're watching or listening to us right now, don't miss out on supporting this club from the very get-go. Like, if you want to have a women's team in that stadium as well, I mean, man, be there from day one.
Yeah, you do. And just kind of based on the initial and excitement when the announcement came out that Brooklyn was having a team, I don't think they're going to have any issues drawing fans, especially in such a densely populated area. There's got to be a ton of fans up there, so that's going to be um, super cool. And obviously, getting the youth academy started early is a great thing to see. Um, and I mean, it's all coming together for him, which is nice. And then Michael also in the comment section saying that he loves that a lot of League One teams are going into the Super League also. Which, yeah, of course. I mean, we ideally all of the League One teams are going to have a Super League team or a W League team, and then you can have multiple teams to support. And I mean, that just opens up a ton of different, um, not endorsement nights, but like, what's the word I'm looking for?
All of the corporate partnerships.
Yeah, corporate partnerships and just crossover nights, stuff like that, to get people in the gates for both teams. I think the sooner teams adopt Super League team and W League team into their kind of umbrella of their team, that it's only going to do great things for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, that also comes with having to support it. So if you are lucky enough to be one of those teams in League One that also has a W League or a Super League team, you got to make sure you get out and support them as well. So the
Yep.
league's only going to grow with both of these leagues working together. So, um, the USL as a whole is branching out into things that definitely need a little bit help getting off the ground. So the
Mhm.
sooner we can do that, again, the more seriously the USL is just going to be continue to grow in the states. So
Exactly. Very well said. And speaking of Cress, we had some news come out of Chattanooga. Now, Brian, I know you're excited to talk about this one. So Chattanooga Red Wolves lost their trademark battle when Arkansas State filed a trademark infringement case against Chattanooga Red Wolves.
mhm.
And if you look at their logos, I don't know. Let me get your thoughts on that, Brian.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I'm just gonna pull the outline over onto my other screen so that everybody can kind of see what we're talking about here. We'll do that, and then I don't need to show everybody everything else. There we go. So you can kind of see there. It's over my face now, but um, what the two logos look like, super similar, right? Um, do they have a does Ark does Arkansas State have a case in this one? Uh, maybe. I mean, they're very close. Yes, they're both use the same ish color scheme. They're both wolves. They're both red wolves. I mean, yeah, you've got a point, but do you really? I mean, is it the same product? Is American football in the United States the same product as third division soccer?
Yeah.
Obviously not. I think this was Arkansas State kind of trying to flex their muscle in that area. And I mean, I guess it worked.
Who was that? Was it Ole Miss who was facing some sort of legal battle because the Houston Oilers filed some sort of jersey design
Oh,
case against them or something like that?
I don't remember hearing that, but with you saying that, I can definitely see. But at the same time, I mean, the Houston Oilers haven't been a thing for I
Exactly.
think before I was born, maybe? No,
Yeah,
maybe. I was born in '91. I don't remember when the Houston Oilers stopped being a thing, but had to have been after I was born. Either
yeah,
way, I can see it, I understand it, but that one I get. I mean, it's 2 American football teams going after each other. This is a
yeah.
college going after a 3rd division soccer team, which is a little weird. Um,
And it's weird that a college football team would be threatened by a 3rd division soccer team, like, get over it.
right. Soup Loop's in the chat. Good to see you too, Soup. I think it's dumb. It's like
Houston, there it is.
UGA suing every high school in the country because they also have a bulldog wearing red, which is a lot.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many high schools have that G logo too. There are a ton of them that
Yeah,
use that logo.
the Green Bay G.
Yeah.
Yep, that's yeah. That I think Gretna here in Nebraska does that. Well, here in Omaha, we also have a team in Omaha West Side that uses the Wisconsin W as their
Oh,
logo.
dude, yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you, Soup. I think it's a little ridiculous. Yes, they have a case, but come on, man. I mean, there's only so many animals and so many color schemes you can go with.
Yeah.
Let's tone it down a little bit.
And Michael coming in saving me saying University of Houston had the Oiler themed jerseys. Thank you for that one.
Yeah, but I feel like, come on, man. You're both in
Yeah.
Houston. Like they're paying
Yeah.
homage to you because you're not around anymore. Do you really have to like sue them for that? Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
It was stupid. But yeah, I when I look at the logo here, I agree with you. Very like the color palette, I can see it. I can also not see it. The
Hmm.
design, I mean, it's there, but it's not. Man, whatever.
So
So,
on the topic of crests and things like that, I want to get your. I didn't put this in the outline, so this is coming straight off of
ooh, here
the
we go.
top of Rich's head. Um, I want to get your thoughts on NCFC unveiling their their new crest with the star above
Oh,
the crest and moving up to championship. How do you feel about that?
yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was actually hoping to put that in the outline. I forgot to. Um, at this point in time, it's the off season. They haven't completely made their move to championship yet. They haven't taken the field against another club yet. So as of right now, they're the League One champion. So
Hmm.
that crest deserves a star above it. What happens when they take the field against a championship team in regular season play? Oh man, I don't know how HQ or the headquarters are gonna react to that. I don't know because this isn't something that we've had to face
Right.
before. Um, because North Texas, I mean, they became a whole different club when they moved up,
Hmm.
or even when they moved over to MLS Next Pro.
Right.
Um, I don't. Oh man. Um, I wonder if championship will maybe have maybe allow them to have that sort of the beige star above it, whereas the USL champion maybe has like a very bright, yellow star above the crest.
Hmm.
Just so that there's still that formal recognition of the club's achievement, but at the same time, it doesn't take precedence over the reigning championship champions.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm really really interested to see how championship handles that and how headquarters sort of dictates that protocol. That's going to be really interesting.
Mhm. I find it so weird just on principle. That'd be like, you know, Sporting Kansas City dropping down to, um, USL Championship and keeping their 2 MLS stars above their crest. Like, I don't understand putting that star above it and then moving leagues. Like, you didn't win that league. Maybe you put I mean, they already have a star inside their crest. Just make that gold on your uh, on your crest for the season. It'll be interesting. I don't know if they're actually going to do it on any of their merchandise or any of their kits this season or not, but um, who knows, man?
Yeah, Soup Loops brings up a really good point, saying that USL started putting that the trophies where the USL logo is. I can't imagine they will get that because then two teams in the championship will have that. I agree. So
Um,
maybe
hmm,
so like the
yeah, that I wonder if you put maybe oh, but then it did. I was thinking you could put it in the USL, like the League One blue on NCFC's
oh,
arm, and then the gold on Phoenix Risings, but
that's
then you're also messing with branding because championships colors are gold and black and not
yeah.
that blue and black that we're used to.
But that is a good idea,
I think that's
having
the
that
only
League One
way you
blue.
can do that if you want to keep a distinguisher in that. But also at the same time, NCFC is up in championship now. So do they really care about their League One accomplishments?
Hey, it's club history, man. If you got hardware and you got a star above your crest, you want to wear that everywhere you can.
True. Fair point. It's just going to be interesting. We don't know anything yet. Um, Maybe if we have John Bradford back on, we'll ask him about what he thinks, and we'll
Yep.
find out from him, the gaffer himself.
Yep. All right. So let me scroll back up here. So we've gone through a bunch of player movements. We've talked about jerseys, all that kind of stuff. We talked about branding. We have several new coaches who have been announced in recent weeks. Um, I don't know that I have them in order here, but we will certainly go through them all here.
Hmm.
Uh, the first one that I have listed here is Spokane Velocity. They have Lee Weidman. He's the former assistant coach from USL Championship Charleston Battery, who just got second place in championship.
Hmm.
He's from Liverpool, Brian. There you go.
Depends on
Unless
what side of the river.
he
Yeah, depends on what side
exactly
he's on.
unless he's wearing blue, then you can't talk to him. Um, but when you look at his resume, he has a surprising amount of entries from the area. He played at Iowa Western. He played at Bellevue. He coached at Midland. He played and coached at Des Moines Menace League Two. So it's really cool that he has such a big presence in the Omaha area. It's
Mhm.
cool to see that just in our neck of the woods. But congrats to him on joining Velocity and becoming a new coach in League One.
Mhm. Yeah, and you know what? Coming from the Des Moines Menace thing, I mean, geez, man, what doesn't the Des Moines Menace have their hand in? That club
Exactly.
feeds everything and everybody.
Yeah.
So players, coaches, everything, and their move up to championship cannot come soon enough.
Yeah. If you do not know about Des Moines Menace from League Two, you need to do some deep dives into them because they have multiple players who have gone on to play in MLS, who have played internationally. They have multiple players who have gone on to play in League One and Championship. They have multiple players who have turned into coaches who are now having an impact on USL's umbrella. Um, I mean, this is a club that, man, they have a rich history of excellence. So it's nice to have them, within a 2-hour drive of Brian and I, so that we can go check them out on a weekend when we don't have anything going on. Those games are fun too.
Mhm. Yeah, I still got to make it out for one. I know I've met quite a few supporters for Des Moines Menace, and it's always a good time hanging out and talking with them. So, um, definitely be an item to try to get on this season.
Yeah.
Um, for sure, it'd be real fun to get out there.
Yep. And it sounds like Velocity already has an idea of what kind of a scheme, tactics, formation, all that kind of stuff they want to employ. Because when you look at the owner, Ryan Harnato, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He in the club's announcement, he said we were very fortunate to have a large and highly competitive applicant pool for this head coach position. Lee is a talented and well respected coach, and his methodology and coaching style is a natural fit within our technical department and new organization. We look forward to welcoming Lee to Spokane and building an incredible community asset. So it sounds like even when they were interviewing the head coaching, applicants, they already knew what kind of a style they wanted to play. So it's
Hmm.
cool that they got the guy they wanted.
Yeah, I mean that really just goes to show how much thought was put into Spokane's club. If you already have a set standard that you want for your for your team before you've even kicked a ball, you're already doing it right.
Mhm.
Um, so hats off to them for finding the right guy for the job for what they wanted to do. So that's
Yep.
not easy, especially with how many applicants are probably sent in for that head coaching position. For them to find somebody that fits that well, hats off to that department for finding them.
Yeah, and speaking of right fit for the right club, looking at Greenville, they just announced their, head coach, what was it, earlier today or yesterday or something like that?
Today.
Today, yeah. So Rick Wright was, given the title of head coach and technical director of, of the first team. So he was previously working as the assistant coach. He was director of technical alliances and community developments. So he was responsible for all of the responsibilities for like cultivating relationships with the local community. He was also in charge of building the Unified Series team there in Greenville, which uh, Brian, I know earlier you were talking about it's great to see that teams are building women's teams in association with their League One teams. I
Mhm.
think it's also amazing that there are so many clubs that are interested in building a unified team.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, um, that one hits close to me, my heart. So it's really cool to see that coming on, and um, hopefully, it's just yet another league to support. I know I would love to hit um, all three of those leagues. I would love to be a part of a supporters culture for that as well.
Yeah. And we know that Greenville hasn't already announced that they're actively pursuing a unified team. They've already
Hmm.
posted pictures on social media and everything. There are other clubs who are developing their unified series program. They haven't announced it yet, but those announcements will be coming here in the very short future. Um, and that's going to be exciting because the more teams that we can get in that setup, the better. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I want to see after every league match. Let's just get double headers for unified match and League One matches, and then
Yeah.
Super League and W League too. I mean, we'll throw it all. Have a three-peat in one
Oh,
night. Whoever
hey,
wants to
if I'm
start first, send them in. Switch it
exactly.
around. Sometimes it's League One starts, sometimes it's unified, sometimes it's Super or W League. I'd sit through all three matches in the same place.
Oh,
Easy. Make a day of it.
easily. Easily, yeah. I would not mind spending the entire day at the stadium watching all of those teams compete. That would be so
Hmm.
much fun.
Oh yeah.
No issues whatsoever.
Hmm.
But going back to Greenville, Rick was obviously the perfect choice because he has such a lengthy spell with Greenville already. He knows the club, he knows the culture. Sounds like he's going to be throwing in a very similar system to John Hark's. But when you look at Chris Lewis, who is Greenville's president, he had a quote in their club announcement saying, "We are thrilled to name Rick the new head coach and technical director of our men's team. Rick has been a successful head coach at multiple levels, and his intimate knowledge of our club, its mission, and culture are incredibly valuable. Furthermore, Rick's corporate leadership experience brings essential skills to the head coach and technical director position that are important to the club as it enters the next chapter of its development.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this was the perfect choice for what Greenville wanted to do for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I worry about is the head coach and technical director position. When those get intertwined, those guys tend to wear out quite quickly. And I mean it's through no fault of their own. That those are two extremely stressful, extremely high pressure jobs. Um, so I mean, obviously, we want nothing but the best for Rick. So hopefully he's able to handle it. It sounds like they have full confidence in him to handle it. It's definitely something to look out for with anybody that throws their head coach and technical director position together. I know we saw that last season with a couple teams, and um, people take steps back from maybe the head coach position, maybe they move in to the head coach position, but either way, it seems to me that Greenville knew who they wanted, and for them, Rick is the right man for the job, and I tend to agree with him from everything that I've seen and heard about him.
Yeah, one name that we did see that with last season was Sam Stockley there in Lexington.
Hmm.
He did step down, and uh, I mean, he's been such a huge influence there at Lexington. But it's good that he's still sticking around to do the sporting director, I believe, is his title.
Yeah,
But they did pass on that coaching position, which leads us perfectly into Darren Powell, who was just hired there at Lexington. Um, and he previously worked at Inter Miami as the director of player development and first team assistant coach. So he has some valuable experience um, on the MLS level, and uh, he's actually been a part of League One in the past because he was the head coach of Fort Lauderdale back in 2021.
yeah, that Fort Lauderdale team.
Yeah. So it's good to see Darren coming back to the league. He obviously, once he left Fort Lauderdale, he gathered some great experience from Inter Miami. He's bringing that back with him to Lexington. He's being given some keys to an incredible Lamborghini there in Lexington, and what he does with that club is going to be pretty dang exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it sounds like they have full confidence in him as well, because men's sporting director Sam Stockley said, in a quote, he's got all the key attributes to be able to develop and help move us forward. He's going to help develop everybody within the football club, and that's what we're looking for. Darren fits our culture of who we are and what we're trying to do with our identity, but also have the ability to push us forward. So, um, coming from a guy who was the head coach of Lexington, that it for him to say that he has full confidence in them, um, and Darren to do that, I mean that's good enough for me.
Yep. Yeah, that's a heck of a endorsement if you're gonna get one. So um it's good to have Stockley on your side.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, we actually had a question that ran right along with this from Michael, actually watching and listening tonight. Hello, Michael. Thanks for joining. So his question on social media was, who will be the best new head coach this season? So I just put those candidates alongside Jermaine Jones, which I don't think we didn't talk about him, but I mean, Central Valley, Jermaine Jones, former U.S. men's national team player, had plenty of experience over in Europe, bringing all of those attributes with him to League One. This is going to be his first foray into the coaching sector. So we have several candidates here. I've listed five. So we had the four that we just discussed, but we could easily throw in Scott McKenzie as well there in Chattanooga because he did less than half a season with the Red Wolves at the end of 23.
Hmm.
So I don't there's looking at each one of these candidates. Oh, Tough, tough question.
Mhm.
I think it'll be a lot easier to answer this question once we know more about each of their rosters and how they're shaping. But I think I have my pick. Who's your pick?
Um, for me, it's gotta be Rick Wright for Greenville.
Okay.
I mean, he been with the club already, runs a system that is similar to John Harkes, who had nothing but success in Greenville. Um, that's an organization that knows how to get it done, and I feel like as long as you can maintain a status quo, you'll be set up for success in Greenville. So for me, it's got to be Rick Wright, but a very close second is Darren Powell with Lexington. That is, like you said earlier, keys to a Lamborghini. So I could very well see either of those two being in contention for Coach of the Year this season.
Yeah, for me, um, I would love to show some respect to Spokane's Lee Vitamin or Central Valley's Jermaine Jones, but like we said, we don't really know much about their what their roster is shaping up to be.
Yeah,
I have a whole lot more faith in Scott McKenzie at Chattanooga and Darren Powell at Lexington. Between those two, I'm gonna give the edge to oh man. Ooh, that's tough. Because Scott McKenzie did a great job in those 13 matches that he coached. They
true.
averaged 2 goals a game. They had 2 players that finished the season with 10 or more goals. They were in the race for the wooden spoon, and he took them up to 10th place. Like, he passed Richmond to finish the season.
Well, I mean, let's. Richmond was
Yeah.
also a dumpster fire at the end of last season. We can put that out there right now.
And then, as we've already stated, Darren Powell's getting, the keys to the fast car there in Lexington. Um, oh man, someone who's already shown some promise versus someone who's got a lot of hype behind him.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna go with. Oh, dang it, this is tough. I am gonna side with Darren Powell, purely on the aspect of that we've already seen what Scott McKenzie can do. We already, know the system that he's going to do. We know that he's impressive, but because he's already played in League One, I feel like that kind of makes him ineligible. That's
Fair.
that's like I'm trying to do like some mental gymnastics to break this tiebreaker. So I'm going to go with Darren Powell. I think he's going to do really great things there in Lexington, and it's
Hmm.
going to be fun to watch them.
Yeah. And I mean, this is all subject to change because we have, well, I can't say we have zero roster news, but we have very limited roster
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
So take it as what it is. This is off season. The season's only been done, what, 3 weeks now? So, uh, but I mean, like we're gonna talk about here before too long. Season's right around the corner still. It is
Mhm.
not far off. That is the great thing about soccer is it is you don't have to wait long to get back into the action.
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive into that one because the league did announce the home openers for every single club that'll be playing in League One in 2024, and there are some good matchups in these uh, these home openers.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. We get even looking at Madison, Ford Madison's home opener is against Richmond. So their home opener is a Henny Derby.
Love it.
That's crazy. One Knox in Lexington. One Knox's home opener is a barrel brawl.
Hmm.
It's just Omaha, Union Omaha is hosting Charlotte, a rematch of last year's semifinal.
Hmm.
I mean, there are just so many. I mean, Northern Colorado
No, Coach
hosting Charlotte.
Charlotte. That's another good
That's
one.
just, jeez.
Yeah. Charlotte is. a lot of teams' home openers. I
Yeah,
mean,
they are.
Charlotte plays One Knox in their home opener, Omaha in their home opener, and Northern Colorado in their home opener. I think
Yep.
that is the most home opener featured team on this list.
Yeah, Union Omaha is in a close second with 2 home openers. They play at Central Valley and at Chattanooga. I'm trying to see if there's any others here. Richmond, plays at Spokane and then at Ford Madison. So, a
Hmm.
couple teams get the early taste of home openers during the season.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean,
it
the season starts on March 9th. When I said it's right around the corner, I mean, we got December, January, February, and that's it.
yeah,
Beginning of March, you have 3 months of off season.
yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Isn't that amazing? I love it.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
that's not a whole lot of shows where we have to sit and talk about stuff we have no idea about.
Yeah,
Because by the time we get our heads grasped around what's going on in the league, it'll be time to start the season. So then it'll be
yep,
easy from there. And then we'll actually have stuff to talk about because I'm sure people will get uh, a little bit tired of hearing us just spout random stuff and not really have any answers.
yeah. And if you think about it, in comparison to last year when they had that League One Day 1,
Hmm.
we're only 2 or 3 weeks away from that.
Hmm.
So we could see some major roster news happening there.
Yeah.
Now, Soup Loops and I were texting earlier today. We thought we came across something with some player movement. We can't really speculate, here and now. But it's fun to see all the sort of rumors that could be happening. We've already seen plenty of players post on social media saying, "Hey, not going back to the club next year." You know, moving on to the next adventure and all that kind of stuff. So we know who's not going to be coming back to certain clubs across the league. We've heard rumors about where some of them will be ending up. Can't confirm anything here and now. Um, but it's cool to be in this zone where we're trying to, put the puzzle pieces together and get a good picture of what's going on.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be super interesting when if they end up doing another League One Day one. I hope they do. Um, that was fun last year to cover that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean it's coming quick, and it'll. I'm sure roster news is going to be starting to come here pretty soon. So
yep,
it's all coming together.
yep.
Uh,
And did you see that we were invited to Fuego's home opener?
yeah, Central Valley
Yeah,
on March 16th.
yeah.
Yeah, the people over at
Fuego.
Fuego Pod, El Fuego Pod, saying to come on down. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Could be something in the works for that. We'll have to look and see.
I'll know in a week or 2. I think I'll know in a week if I can make it down there. Hopefully I can. We'll see.
Yeah, in California in March. Yeah, I might be able to make that work.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm hoping I can make it to Fresno.
Hmm.
I'm hoping I can make it to Richmond because I have some friends that live there in Richmond. Um, and then obviously any trips down to the southeast. I mean, just do a drive around there. You'll
Oh yeah.
throw a stone in any direction. You're going to hit a League One team
Yep.
eventually.
True. We also have Allison in the chat. Good to see you again, Allison. Thing she was asking things that have been posted or rumors people are making up to troll other people.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
she sent me some stuff on Instagram and she's messing with my head. And yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of what the off season is about, right?
Yeah,
You see rumors and you run with them.
exactly. Yeah.
Don't need anything else. Like I heard Messi's coming to Omaha, but I don't know.
Oh, he already signed that contract.
Right.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
God, I can't imagine Messi in this league. Come on, man. Michael coming
Um,
in as well on the chat saying, "Would love to see you in Lexington when we get our new stadium."
oh, that stadium's gonna be nice too.
Mhm.
Did you see the renderings for that thing?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that is gonna be a nice stadium.
Stadium news is one thing I will always be 100% up to date on,
Yeah,
um, because there's a lot of teams in the league that deserve their own stadium as well. Really cool to see all these teams getting stadiums. So, I mean,
yeah.
they all deserve a stadium. So it's really cool that the ones that are getting stadiums are getting them and getting them quickly. That's the thing to me that is amazing is how fast these stadiums are getting turned around.
Mhm.
I mean, I know it's working in construction. I know we want to get it done by this date, and the actual completion date are two different things. But um, just to see that they're getting stadiums done in a year and a half, crazy,
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
yeah. And we had a recent update from Tormenta Stadium because they were pouring the concrete for the, parking lot,
Hmm.
down there. So there's an update at that stadium too.
Yeah, league's
Alright,
growing up.
so the when we were going through all the home openers, there was one club that we did not mention who has been closely aligned with League One for the 24 season, and that is Santa Barbara Sky FC.
Hmm.
What we can say here and now, um, is the stuff that has been reported online, which is, um, that it doesn't look like they're gonna be playing in 24. The, uh, the focus seems to have been, uh, altered for 25. We also can see that their stadium deal seems to have fallen through because if you go to the frequently asked questions section of the club website, it does say there, uh, in the website that it says, home venue will be announced soon. It no longer states that the home matches will be played at La Playa Stadium, like it had been in the past.
Hmm.
We also haven't seen a whole lot of updates from the club, and so that's what we can say here and now. Um, so yes, that we'll just
The club will keep you updated.
yes.
Make sure you keep tabs on their social media, um, and everything like that. And um, I would love to see Santa Barbara in the league next season.
Mhm.
Whether or not it happens, I mean, we'll just have to play it by ear. That's how this league kind of works. We never really know anything until it's a reality, right? We can
Yeah,
speculate, we can talk, we can do all this stuff, but um, until we see their beautiful crest on the front of a kit inside a League One stadium, and this goes for any team in the league, especially with how lower division soccer works. Until the season starts and your team's on the field, you don't know if you have a team or not.
yeah,
So
yep. So true. Thanks for saving me on that one.
you're good. You are good.
But the thing about Sky FC, uh, that shield they have, ooh, that's a nice
Hmm.
shield.
They're one of the best in the league.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
yeah,
will say it right away. That is one of my favorite crests in this league.
yeah. I love the terracotta color too.
So nice.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Do we have anything else in here?
Um, I think the only other thing we've got since we're running up on our hour mark, which we were kind of trying to stay on, we got one more question
Oh yeah.
from Twitter, and it's from Ross Davenport, at that Ross bloke on Twitter or X, whatever you're calling it. I'm gonna call it Twitter still. He wants to know, where is Jay Mims?
Sounds like he's become a global leader in botany and horticulture here in Omaha. So as far as any sort of coaching destinations or relocations or anything like that, that's as far as we can, surmise at this point in time. But it sounds like he's still enjoying life in the Omaha area.
Yeah. I think we all kind of know what, I mean, for people in Omaha know kind of the story behind it and everything, why he wanted to get out, and it's I haven't heard or seen him around Omaha at all. Granted, we probably don't go to the same places. I doubt J Mims is going to be anywhere near my house because I go to work and I come home and that's about it in the off season. So, um, who knows, man? He's out and about. I guess he's doing something.
Yep.
Whether or not it's soccer related, who knows? But um, as soon as we get that information, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And the same goes with any coach that's been in the league. Um, so another one that comes to mind is whenever we find out what's John Harkes ends up doing,
Yeah.
we'll let everybody know. But as of
Yep.
right now, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So looks like we are at the point where we can start announcing our future guests. Let me use this moment to ask anybody who is watching or listening to throw any last second questions into the live chat while you guys are thinking about your questions. So, the next 2 weeks, we are safe to announce our upcoming guests. I'll announce the first one. You can announce the second one, Brian.
Sure.
So for next week, we will be having the new coach at Central Valley Fuego, head coach Jermaine Jones, on the show for an in depth discussion and interview. We're really excited for that one.
hmm Yeah, that one. I think when that hire happened, I think I got a text message from Rich asking if we should have him on the show about 35 and a half seconds after that got posted. So, yeah, definitely going to be one I'm excited for, especially with all he's done for soccer in the states, um, and then taking a position here that Central Valley is probably not the easiest head coaching job in League One right now. So, I'm gonna love to kind of ask him about if he's up for the challenge of taking Central Valley out of Wooden Spoon land.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
So, um, and not to be not to spoil you guys too much, but the week after that, we have Union Omaha's head coach, the USL One Coach of the Year, Dominic Casiato. After that, for the first time on our show for both of these guys. So, um, yeah, Rich has been hard at work getting the emails out there, and thankfully, both of the clubs and both of these coaches said, "Yeah, I'd love to come on." So,
Well, it was also nice because we've been chatting with Dom for quite a while, and he's been saying how he wanted to be on the show. And then we finally had that pep rally before the Charlotte semifinal match,
mhm,
and he approached us and said, "Hey, let's make this podcast episode happen." So it's like, all right, cool, yeah, let's
yeah,
let's do it.
right,
So yeah, we have some very exciting weeks ahead. We are still talking to others about who those future guests are going to be and when and which order they're going to be, because
hmm
we already have a whole list of who we're going to be interviewing. And Brian and I were actually discussing some of that before we went live tonight. So
hmm
we have some more exciting announcements coming, and this off season is going to be so good.
yeah. And there's also some other stuff in the works between some us and some other. It's not our brainchild, but some other content creators that you're used to hearing. And if you're not used to hearing them, you what are you doing? We should be listening to everybody because there's
Yeah,
so much great content out here. But I don't know if we're ready to announce or anything like that, or if it's been announced. But just know that there's quite a bit of stuff in the works. So there will not be any shortage of content in the League
yeah,
One sphere
yeah,
anytime soon.
yeah. There's going to be a lot of content coming your way, a lot of podcast episodes. So even though it may be the off season, we're not taking our foot off the gas.
No, all gas, no brakes.
Exactly. All right. Looks like we don't see any more questions in the live chat. So, Brian, I'm good whenever you are.
Hey, I'm good.
Cool. All right. Thanks you. Thank you to everybody who has been watching and listening. to the show tonight. We look forward to coming at you with another episode next week and keep this ball rolling.
Alrighty, thanks, guys.